Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second speech. My name is Douglas Rogers, and I first must apologize for my voice. I've been battling a cold all week. But in the words of the famous British playwright and actor Noel Coward, the show must go on. Since I'm in the construction industry and I build very large projects, I'm often asked by people, how do you know what steps to take in building your building? And how do you know how long it's going to take to finish them? We use something in our business called a construction schedule. And I'm going to show you how building a building can be exactly like making a sandwich when you're talking about schedules. I'm a construction executive for a very large company in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm currently building an $85 million project in Jupiter, Florida. I've been in the construction industry for over 40 years, so I do know a bit about schedules. The schedule is one of the tools that we use in our business, but we will see that schedules are used every day by everyone, often subconsciously, to do any number of small tasks. To build our schedule, we start by identifying all the material that we need for our project. We list all of the steps that we're going to take to put the project together, and then we identify how long each of these steps will take to come up with the final length of time to build our project. To ease our discussion today, the building type that I will be talking about will be a simple doghouse, but the steps are similar for buildings that are larger and much more complicated. The first thing we want to do is put together a list of all the materials or the ingredients that we need to make our project. In the construction industry, this list of material is called a procurement log. But when you're talking about building your sandwich or anything around the house, you're probably more familiar with what is called the shopping list. Again, these are the same thing. Now, when making a sandwich, we need bread, meat, perhaps lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, even perhaps some cheese. In the case of building a doghouse, our list will include the material for the floor, the walls, the door, the roof, and perhaps the outside paint. Next, we have to go out and we have to procure the material. In other words, we have to buy our material. In the case of making our sandwich, your procurement will probably first start with actually a look in your refrigerator, and then invariably will end up with a run to the grocery store to get the rest of the items you need. When procuring the material for a doghouse, we'll call the lumberyard, run down, pick up our supplies, and then haul them back to the project site. So now that we've finished putting together a list of all the material that we're going to need, the next goal is to make a list of all the steps that we need to take in order to make sure that we put our project together and complete the project. This list of steps must include everything from large to small. Steps included in making the sandwich include slicing the bread, spreading the mayonnaise, on and on through the end of our project. The tasks needed for building the doghouse would include building the floor, building the walls, mounting the walls on the floor, and so on till you've built your roof and then you apply your outside paint. But having all the steps together is still not quite enough. The next step is to put a list in logical order of each of the steps so that your project can flow seamlessly from beginning to end. The sandwich making steps seem pretty straightforward, but again, some people are very peculiar in the layering of their sandwich, so you have to know what someone wants. In the case of building the doghouse, the sequence of the steps again are quite intuitive. For instance, the roof can't be installed until the walls are built. So now that we know what we're trying to make and how to do it in the logical order that it needs to be done, the next step is going to be assign time durations to each of our tasks. In the case of our sandwich, each of our steps will take probably from 5 or 10 seconds to 1 minute. In the case of our doghouse, each step will probably take about an hour. So, to finish our sandwich and make it look something like this, you're talking about a total of about 5 minutes. To build your doghouse and have it look something like this, you're talking about 5 to 6 hours. So as you can now easily see, building a building is a lot like making a sandwich. when you look at it from a scheduling standpoint. We put together a list of all the purchased material. We put a list together of all the tasks that we need, and we assign a time duration to each of those tasks, and we come up with the final time we've needed for our project. Of course, I have to admit there are a few more steps to take when building a larger building, but now you can understand scheduling. You can see that it can be used to accomplish many tasks throughout your life. I hope you've enjoyed our little discussion, and thanks for listening.